we have a 4-wall and a Y fixture, and then we have an options fixture that all kind of assemble the same way. There's a bottom X for the X fixture and a bottom Y for the Y fixture. There are the same extruded weldments on these, or the same weldments on these that we used on the patio door to hold these frame sections in place. So what you do is you locate your wall sections, get them all unpacked. We like to lay everything on its side and get the graphic brackets put in place ahead of time while it's on the floor. You can do it how you want. Doesn't matter to us. But a couple of things to note, that the 2500 or the window 10 and window 11, the opening for these windows is slightly larger. It's 1/4 of an inch taller. So you need to know that, so that when you're mounting these to this frame, you can get everything orientated the correct way. Because what you see here is that window 8 and window 9 are together, and window 10 and window 11 are together. You want to make sure that those larger ones for 10 and 11 are correct. And one way you can do that is, let me see if I can expand this a little bit. We put a piece of yellow tape on the ones that for number 10 and number 11. Just take note of those so you get them in the right location. That's that. What we're showing here in step 7 is the orientation of the windows. Hugely important. We've had to go back to 5 or 6 stores now because the installers didn't install these correctly. One thing to note is that interiors always face interiors, and exteriors always face exteriors. So these windows are showing you what direction the interior portion of the window is facing. So you would insert it correctly so that the 2500 and the 4500, or window 10 and 11, the interiors are facing, and the same thing for window 8 and 9. Okay, so just please pay attention to that. It's important to Jeld-Wen, it's important to Menards that we have everything done correctly. So you've got them attached at the bottom. Now it's time to attach them at the top. There aren't any weldments on here. There are tabs that go on the outside of the extrusion that are there just to give separation, the correct separation of these panels. Phil had a little trick that I saw him doing where he would, instead of battling 4 tabs and 4 window units or 4 weldments, he would turn that thing at 45 degrees and get the tabs in, and then he would turn it 45 to get everything locked into place. So instead of just trying to drop it down, he was getting it in place and turning it. And then there are pre-drilled holes in the top of this that correspond to the holes in the top of that X plate. Use self-tappers, get that in place, and then that thing is good to go. One thing to note is that there are levelers on the bottom of each of these feet. While you've got it down and working on it, get the levelers in place. There's a leveler on the center of this as well. Get that leveler in place. We don't attach that bottom X to the bottom of the frames, so don't worry about that. And then it's time to insert the windows. So locate your windows. We're showing you them here. It's 8, 9, 10, and 11. And John, to answer your question from previously, we want you to take the exterior trim piece for the X-Pod, number 9, and we need that. It's brown now. We need it painted black. We'll give you some specs on that paint. We're asking the installers to purchase that in the stores and just take it from store to store with them after that. Dale, is that something that we have to have as interior paint, or can we just use black matte or satin spray paint?
I would use regular paint because I don't know how the spray paint will adhere to that original paint.
Okay, so we'll give you a spec, and you'll have to go to the paint department and order that paint. We'll even try to do that for the first stores for Monday. We'll try to get that pre-ordered for you so it's ready. Dale, you'll have to work with me on getting that. done.
Okay.
But we'll try to have that ready for you when you get there and paid for. So all you have to do is pick it up and then get it painted. You'll have to purchase some roller brushes or foam brushes or whatever you need to get that done. But here's step 8. Just orientate yourself to the windows. The exterior is always the side that has the nail fin. That's how you know. Know that, and then applying the trim pieces the same as before. Exterior has the thin on the outside and thick on the inside. We're showing you an acceptable corner and what's not. But just be double prepared when you're mounting the windows that you're getting them in the right location on the fixture and facing the right direction. On window number 8, we need to apply this oak jam that's in the trim kit that you have. It's already finished. You just need to apply some tape and get that in. All right, one thing to note when you're putting these in, again, I do top and bottom, or you'll have to do the top and the bottom first. Make sure that the oak is facing out because it is a jam and you'll see it when you apply the trim. And then 2, it has to be flush with the face of this so that when we apply the trim, it has something to adhere to. And then here we're showing you where the graphics go on that. Just make sure that the vertical graphics and the top graphics coincide with the window that you're applying it to. Here we're showing you what those are and what it looks like when it's done. One thing to note is when you're mounting the top graphic and the side graphic, this edge right here all needs to be in alignment. So what that means is there's a particular side of the L bracket that we've provided you that has to mount on for that to happen. So just hold it up in place, make sure that all the sides are in alignment and life will be good. For those, we're using 1024 screws, and then there's some nylon nuts that we're using. We found that if you have like a 3/8 drive bit, that helps too. Otherwise, you can use a pair of pliers or a wrench to hold that in place while you screw it in. And then finally, we have ticket channel that has to be applied to the top portion in step 11. And super easy. There's already adhesive. It's in the shape of a U, I guess, if you would, but there's an opening at the top so that they can put the price in. Make sure that that opening is at the top. Otherwise, when they put the price in, it's just going to fall at the bottom if it's not done correctly. But what we're doing is orientating this price ticket with the outer letter here. Here it's the B, and then at the bottom of the blue. So those were our 2 registration marks on that. And then just get those in place. There's one front and one back. And then step number 12 is assembling the brochure holders. There's pre-drilled holes on the underside of this rail that you'll use to do that. Always note that the brochure holders face the interior side of the window, not the exterior. So you have brochure holders facing each other there.